us. Okay, we're here.
Get in here.
Hey, we're here in LaPorte. Where are we at? LaPorte, Indiana.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
And we're visiting
Move over there, sis.
Brother
Alright,
White
I'm coming.
here,
Yes.
and Paula and David.
Hi.
We're gonna go up to his apartment and talk, right?
Right.
We're going to have a couple bits.
Okay.
We're going to have fellowship.
Hey,
That's
that
right.
sounds good.
Yeah.
That don't cost any money.
No, it don't.
And stories.
And stories.
And some
yeah.
stories.
Stories.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
You were born where?
In Hazelhurst, Georgia,
In what year?
1927.
And what are some of the early things that you remember?
Hazelhurst, Georgia. I can't remember too much about that because I lived there just a few years, and I moved to Florida. Right there at Cape Canaveral. You ever hear of that?
Yes,
place?
yes, yes.
Titusville.
Titusville, Florida. We lived there in Titusville, you know. And while I was there in Titusville, what I remember, we had about a 1927 Ford, and and my mother, she was pretty affluent. She had a little money when they got married to my dad.
Where'd the money come from?
Well, she inherited it from her dad. He was pretty prosperous, you know.
What type? Was it old money, or did he work? Did he have a business, or what?
I never did get all the details about that. I never did get all the details about that.
I know she had a car when she was a teenager.
Yeah, she was about 18. She had her own car.
Wow.
Yes, sir. And she wrote you had I sent you the ancestry.com, whatever. But while I was in Florida, the thing I remember about Florida, we went to town, and of course you young folks wouldn't understand this, but I got a nickel that Saturday. We went to town on Saturday night, and Saturday afternoon I had a nickel, and I remember you could buy 3 or 4 different items. Got a slingshot. No, really. And the thing I remember about Florida, well, it's going home time, and my mom and dad were on the way home, and finally they looked back in the back seat, and I wasn't there.
Oh, wow.
And I must have been about 7 or 8, and I was walking home. And you know, and that's what I remember. Also, I remember the other thing that stood out is that we're playing baseball one day, and I was batting, and I got hit in the head with a ball or a bat, and my mama said she was always afraid that I was going to have epilepsy fits because
Because of that.
and she was very concerned about me, you know.
Because you got hit in the head.
Yeah, and then we moved to Georgia again. That was 1936, you know, and we were tobacco farmers.
So how old were you in 36?
And 36, 27, and 36, 9 years old. And the thing I remember about that, how come you always remember the bad things about
Yeah,
people?
we were just talking about that.
That just stands out.
Yeah.
And you remember all the things, that is just, and I used to go out and take a mule and ride out there in the tobacco crop, you know. And I don't know what I was doing there, but anyway, I took a little ride on the mule, and we were galloping along there. Didn't have saddles back in those days. And all at once, I went headlong, dived over his head, and I don't know why kids. Of course, we got angels watching over us. How kids survive, I don't know. I don't know how we survived, but anyway, we moved back to Georgia. We weren't there. We moved there in the spring, and we farmed, had a tobacco crop. Harvest time come. And
Is that like a sharecropper deal where you?
Sharecropper, yeah.
And my mother said something about the tobacco had so much poison on it, it was dangerous. I don't know what she meant by
nicotine.
No, just the
poison.
the insecticide.
Insecticide, okay.
She did tell me about that.
Yeah, okay.
Something you probably didn't know as a kid.
Well, I never did hear about that, but when when my dad passed away, that now Mom was in trouble. This was depression.
And so, how old were you when your dad died then?
Well, he died, let's see. Well, he died the same year we moved back to Georgia. That was 36. I was 9 years old.
Was he sick?
He had
TB or something?
some kind of it was a disease of a kidney.
Wright's disease.
I forget the name of it.
Right.
And there we were, and Mom was
That's what
with
she told me.
Mom was with 4 kids. I forgot that she was pregnant. I think she was pregnant, but I didn't remember that.
With Juanita.
But she had us 3 boys and the girl, and